Good morning, students. So today we'll start another phase of structure. Before this day or before this uh, chapter, I have described what is structure, what is the utility of structure, and I have given an example of a structure. So today we'll move into another thing, or the important part and the last part of chapter is array of structures or array of structure, whatever you say. Okay. Now, what is array of structure? Array of structure means we are consisting an array inside a structure. Before going to that, let us take an example of a program. The program is, suppose we want to take some students. So we are preparing a structure, struct student, name of the structure is student, and inside it we are defining the name in a character array, maximum size is 20. We are taking the ID, which is in integer, that means roll number or anything. Then we are taking the marks in float. Clear? After that, we are going into the main function body and we are declaring the name or defining the name inside it, which is struct student. Now I have defined three variables s1, s2 and s3. This s1, s2 and s3 are three different students. First one for student 1, then second one for student 2, and third one for student 3. So I have declared three variables inside it, which will define the different entities or different members of the fields. Okay. Here I am taking a variable x means, that means I am taking the value, and or I want to print the value. So here I am taking the first one, printf, enter the name, ID and marks of the student 1. Then we are using scanf, percentage %s, the first one because the name is in string, so character array, percentage %s, percentage %d for integer and float for percentage %f. Now we are taking the value, so the string cannot have an ampersand sign in it, right, because it will go for the address directly. So for this reason string takes character array, and hence we generally take it when we are writing percentage %s, it is directly taking the name. So as we are going for the first student, we are writing s1.name comma ampersand s1.id, and third one is ampersand s1.marks. This is for the first student. For the second student, for the third student, these are quite simple. So what is the output of it? The output for it is given here. We are giving the name, then the ID and the marks. I have given three different names. First one is Thor, student 1 is Thor, you have heard of Avengers. So first one is Thor, and second one is Stark, Tony Stark, and third one is Hulk. And we have to print the details of the student, so all of the things are printed here. Now in the above program we have stored data of three students in the structure, correct? However, the complexity of the program will increase if there are 20 students. We have given here 3 students. If we have 20, yes, it is a typical job. In that case, we'll have to declare 20 different structure variables, s1, s2, s3, s4, s5, s6, s7 up to s20, and store them one by one individually. That means printf scanf for the 20 times, and then we have to print it. This will always be a tough, since we'll have to declare a variable every time and you will add a student one by one. So what will happen? Remembering the name of all the variables is also a very tough job. You have to remember all of the name of the variables, like s1, s2, s3 for student 1, for student 2, for student 3, for student 4. All of the variable names you have to keep in mind what are the variables I am using. So C declares an idea of array of structure, by using which we can avoid declaring the different structure variables like s1, s2, s3. We don't have to initialize, or we don't have to declare that much amount of variables or structure variables. Instead, we can make a collection containing all the structures that store the information of different entities. Clear to it? So we are going into the explanation part. An array of structures can be defined as the collection of multiple structure variable where each variable contains information about different entities. So I'm getting a block. Inside the block I am defining something. For another block we are defining another thing, like this. So it will move on. Second one is used to store information about multiple entities of different. I told you that it can store information of multiple entities of different data types. Third one is the array of structure is also known as a collection of structures. So let us have a look on a diagram. Diagram of array of structures. Suppose the first employee is employee 0, second one is employee 1. Now instead of writing that struct employee or struct student s1, s2, s3, I am writing employee, then inside it I am struct employee, I am writing it inside integer id, then character name 5, then float salary. These three fields are mandatory or for this program, and then we are preparing the structure. It is quite clear. After that, how many elements I am taking? I am writing struct employee emp2, that means size of employee. That means this is employee. Now how many employee will be there? Only two employees are there, 0 and 1. Clear? So for this reason I am preparing a chart. First diagram is employee 0 and second diagram is for employee 1. Now from the previous examples that I have given in the previous slides, I have written there that integer take 4 bytes. So 0, 1, 2, 3, that means 4 elements are here. 1000 starts from 1000, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. Then character takes 10, and here it is taking 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. And the fourth one is or the third one is float salary, that means it is again taking 4 elements. Now what is the total size of the array or total size of the structure is 4, 4 plus 9, 4 plus 5, 9, 9 plus 4, 13. Total is 30 bytes. Don't go for this one, character name 10. I have given here character name 10 because in the previous example I have also given there character name 10. Here it is taking character name 5, so it will be 5, not 10. Okay, it's a mistake. So this is for employee 0. How many employees I have taken? 2 employees. So first one is employee 01, second one is employee 1. Clear? Now what is the total size now? This is 13 bytes, this is 13 bytes. So total size of employee 2 is 26 bytes. Quite easy. If you are taking struct employee 20, then you will make employee 0, employee 1 up to employee 20. What is the size of one employee has a size of 13 bytes. What about 20? 20 into 13, that means 260. 260 byte is the total size of the struct employee having 20 elements present or 20 employees present. Clear? So this is the basic idea regarding what you want to store inside. Now come to the next thing. This is an example of this explanation on this structure. Second one is I am taking another example of how the array of structure is working. Here I am taking an example as I will use a string variable here, so I am using a string header file. Now we are declaring a structure which is known as student. Now we are passing the roll number, character name 10, that means the variables that are present. Two different data types are present. Inside the main function I am declaring how many students I want to take, 5. Instead of writing s1, s2, s3, s4, s5, I am directly taking an array. This is called array of structures, st5. That means 5 elements or 5 students will be taken, right? Don't match this character name 10 with st5. This is the total size of the name, that means it will take 10 bytes, and this is how many students will be placed, or how many records of the students will be taken. 5 maximum size. Now the old theory, we are taking the number of students 5. So for I equal to 0, that means a for loop is taken from 0 to less than 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements are there. So we are taking this for loop. Inside it we have to print the roll number and the name of the 5 elements. So inside the for loop we will write these two things. Printf enter the roll number and scanf %d comma ampersand student st is what I have told you. This is struct student st5. So st is your default variable here. So st will signify this student sti dot roll number, and for the second case sti dot name, and it will run for 5 times. So then it will show you the output of the student, and finally we will have to print the information list. What will be present inside the information list? The name and the roll number for the 5 the name and the roll number for the students, for the 5 students. Again the same case, I'll have to print. I don't have to take anything from the user. So when I am printing only the output, that means only printf function is there. When I am taking the value from the user, then I'll use the scanf. So inside the for loop here I am printing the 5 names. Now how the output looks like? This is the program. I have named the students as some characters from Bahubali. Okay, you have heard of the film. So I have taken the name of the first student as Amarendra, second one is Khattappa, third one is Vallal, fourth one is Devsena, and fifth one is Mahendra. And with their respective roll numbers. That means roll number 1 is for Amarendra, up to roll number 5 is for Mahendra. These are the 5 different roll numbers. And so I am taking the value for the first case, I am taking the value from the user, and from the second case I have to print what is the roll number and what is the name. So with their respective roll numbers I am giving the names here. Correct? So now you have an idea about how the array is passed, or array of structures, or what is an array of structures. So in the previous example I am writing struct student s1, s2, s3 for individual name, which becomes filthy and complex. To make it smaller and to utilize the idea of array inside structure, we are using instead of s1, s2, s3, here we are using how many elements you want to take. 5, 10, 20, 100 we are writing there, and we are using a for loop. That means repeatedly it will take the number of elements from here. Okay, so this is called struct, and it can organize the whole thing in a proper way. Clear? So this is the output for this program. I have given another example of how a program works. That means here I have included a struct student with the character name, the percentage and the ID. After the struct student I am defining, due to lack of space I have to give an arrow in this way, nothing else. Okay, you have to write it below one by one. So here I am again taking the first student record, the second student record, the third student record by another way, which is same as that of the array of students, but in a different mode. That means here I am recording record 2. I am using a function which is record 2. That means whatever I'll do, record 0.1 ID, record 0. percentage, record 0. name, whatever. Here the example is for copying one string to another, or copy string copy. So what is the output for it? I have given another example of Raju. Then I am writing their name of the student as Raju, the percentage. Then I am taking the student, taking the percentage, and ID is when the ID or the record name copies from the one portion to another portion. That means I will copy one thing to another thing. Or in simple you can say I want to print the element. But this is for another case. This is the output of the program. And the last part is the nested structure. How a nested structure looks like. Nested structure means structure within a structure. So when I am using struct address on the format informations I have given, or format programs I have given, struct student, then inside it I am writing character city, integer pin, then I am going to the main function body. But here I am using two structures, one for address, second one for employee. Now you can see inside the employee I have declared another structure's name, or this structure's name struct address. That clear? That means it will add the address here. When I'll call employee, it will also go for the address. So inside the main function I am writing struct employee. Quite clear that you have written here, if I write employee, that means it will automatically take the address. Instead of writing the struct address, if I write struct address here, that means it will take only the address part. But if I write here struct employee, that means it will take the employee as well as the address, right? So here I am writing struct employee emp. Emp is a structure variable name. Then I am going for printf the employee information. After that I am taking the whole thing. So what is the output of this? The output looks like, enter the employee information as they have asked. Here I given Arun. Printf enter the employee information. Then they are asking for scan a, percentages, percentage A, percentage D, percentage. Four entities will be there. The first one is emp.name, so I am placing one name Arun. Second one is emp.add city, it is Delhi. Third one is employee.add pin, and fourth one is the phone number given here. Now in the next line you have said print the information or employee information, so I am printing the employee information here. Print, how it will be printed? It will be printed in that way what you have taken. First is the name, second one is the city, third one is the pin code, fourth one is the phone, and I am printing with the same structure variable name. That means employee.name, employee.add.city, employee.add.pin, and employee.add.phone. I have given there employee.add.pin, employee.name. It is directly taking employee.name, but whenever I am going for the address, which variable will be taken? Add. That means add will point to the address. So employee.add.city, that means employee is taking add is taking this city. Employee.add.pin, employee.add.phone, that means it is taking in this way. So this is the last part of structure. Go through some programs, it will be helpful for you. Stay tuned for my next slides. Thank you.